Robert De Niro. When you hear that name, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it the quiet, intense gangster who's about to explode? Or is it the hilariously intimidating father-in-law? For decades, he's been both. He's an absolute master of two completely different worlds. So today, we're diving into the De Niro paradox, the story of how one of cinema's greatest actors became a legend by perfecting two polar opposite personas.
It really all starts right here, with just 4 words. But it's so much more than a line of dialogue, isn't it? It's a cultural touchstone. Travis Bickle talking to himself in the mirror. It's the perfect distillation of that coiled, unpredictable energy that just shot De Niro into stardom. This is the bedrock of the entire legend. And that brings us to the big question. How did the guy who gave us the most iconic mobsters in film history also become the guy from Meet the Parents? How on earth did he manage to conquer 2 creative mountains that are just miles apart? Well, that's the story we're gonna unpack right now. Okay, so to understand the reinvention, you first have to get the invention. And that story was written back in the 1970s. This was an era where De Niro didn't just play characters, he became them. And he did it through a relentless, almost scary level of dedication to his craft. So let's break down what people call the De Niro method, because it goes way beyond just learning your lines. We are talking about a commitment to authenticity that is just on another level. He would literally reshape productions around his characters, rewriting dialogue so it sounded real, finding his own costumes, anything and everything in the pursuit of absolute, unshakable truth. And all that dedication, it created this incredible depth. Take this line from The Deer Hunter. On the surface, yeah, it's about hunting. But in the film, it's this haunting metaphor for the finality of war, for the fragility of these guys coming back from Vietnam. It just captures the painful reality of post-war trauma in one single chilling line. And then there was the physical side of it. For his role as the boxer Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull, De Niro put on 60 pounds to play the character in his later years. Now, this wasn't just about looking the part. It was about feeling the weight of that character's decline, of his failure. It was a transformation so complete, it earned him his 2nd Oscar. Just incredible. And that intensity found its perfect match. It found its home in a legendary collaboration that would go on to define an entire genre. His partnership with director Martin Scorsese wasn't just a great pairing. It was a creative explosion that basically shaped modern cinema as we know it.
I mean, look at this run. This partnership created a whole cinematic universe. You go from the raw, street-level grit of Mean Streets to the polished, brutal epics of Goodfellas and Casino. Scorsese and De Niro didn't just make mob movies, they elevated them into art. They were chronicling the dark soul of the American gangster. And of course, with work this good, the awards started rolling in. The Oscar win for Raging Bull, and the nominations for Taxi Driver and Cape Fear. They were more than just trophies. They were Hollywood officially saying, pay attention, these guys are making history. This wasn't just popular filmmaking, it was masterful.
This line from Goodfellas, it's basically the mobster's gospel, right? It's the simple, brutal code that governs their entire world, a world that De Niro just embodied with such chilling authenticity. It perfectly sums up that whole honor among thieves mentality he made so compelling. And just when the world had him totally figured out, he's the greatest screen gangster of all time, case closed, he did the unthinkable. He pivoted. And this was the turning point. This was the moment the De Niro paradox was truly born. Now, the crucial thing here is how he did it. Analyze This was clever, right? It was a funny riff on his gangster image. But Meet the Parents, that was a total reinvention. The genius of it wasn't that he was being funny. It's that he wasn't even trying to be. He brought that exact same quiet threat, that same intensity to the role of a father-in-law. He created a whole new iconic character from scratch. Jack Burns, the ex-CIA dad from hell. And the numbers, well, they prove what an absolute stroke of genius this was. A $55 million budget explodes into a $330 million global smash hit. And it worked, because the comedy came from seeing that legendary dramatic intensity being used over a family dinner. This move made him a massive comedy star and proved his range was way, way bigger than anyone had ever imagined. So yeah, this move was a game changer for his career. It opened up a completely new chapter. It solidified him as one of Hollywood's elder statesmen, for sure.
But more importantly, it expanded his audience from adults who love gritty crime dramas to entire families, securing his place as a truly beloved Hollywood icon. But De Niro's legacy isn't just about the characters he's played on screen. To really get the full picture of the man, you have to look at how he's used his influence off-screen, especially in his hometown, New York City. This mission statement right here is just incredibly powerful. In the wake of the September 11th attacks, De Niro co-founded the Tribeca Festival. And this wasn't some vanity project. It was an urgent act of civic duty. The goal was crystal clear: use the power of art to help heal a neighborhood and a city that was deep in mourning. And the results really do speak for themselves. I mean, think about it. From just an idea to a full-blown festival in only 120 days. It's since grown into this massive cultural event, attracting around 150,000 people every single year. It stands as one of his most significant contributions, period. It just proves that his commitment to his community is every bit as fierce as his commitment to a role. So after all these decades, where does that leave us? How do we even begin to define the legacy of an artist who just refuses to stand still? Well, what we see is an actor in a state of constant, fascinating evolution. I love this metaphor because it just frames his unique genius so perfectly. You've got Pacino as the sun. He's bright, he's explosive, you see everything. But De Niro, he's the moon. He's more mysterious, more cloaked, more unpredictable. You never quite know what you're gonna get, and that unpredictability, that's his superpower. And in his later work, you can see this beautiful synthesis of his entire career. In a film like The Irishman, he brings it all full circle. He merges that hardened gangster persona with a man who's full of quiet regret and tenderness. He's reflecting not just on a life of crime, but on his own monumental journey as an artist. And get this, the man is showing zero signs of slowing down. He's coming back to the Fokker franchise, diving back into crime thrillers, and working with the next generation of huge stars. His work ethic and his longevity are just unbelievable. Which leaves us with one last thought to chew on. The De Niro paradox really forces us to ask, what truly defines an artist's legacy? Is it perfecting a single iconic art form, like the screen Gangster? Or is it having the courage to risk that legacy, to tear it all down and reinvent yourself for a whole new generation? With Robert De Niro, the answer seems to be, why not both?